Some people don't like to hear it. I love to hear it. Bad news of what's going on in this world is quite amazing. That would be a few things. When I hear the bad news, it makes me want to stand up and make a big stand for the Lord. So I can understand why people who start to speak out, maybe the other people, they might not speak out, but they might want to send an email to the voices online who are speaking up for people to watch and take a pondering about, Not all the voices, including myself, always say everything right, and we don't always have perfect perspectives of things, but we're Christians, and God gave us a certain way of doing things, and it's a certain way of wiring our minds and our thoughts and being able to help protect the body of Christ and to build them up with the words. And it builds me up to be a voice. Everybody gets to take their part, and we all get to be built up, and people who are not the voices, they want to send emails to the voices, and the voice starts talking about what they got emailed, and hey, good subject you brought up, and let's talk about that now. And a lot of different people can rally around these voices and talk about it amongst themselves, and it's encouraging, I don't think learning about the bad news about the devil's junk all the time is going to help us, but I believe that there's a time for it. There's a wisdom in giving someone something to chew on while they're still making up their mind, I guess. I don't know. But the bad news I was seeing, one of the many things that the communists wanted to do, 1958, there was a man, I forgot his name. He's an old man that was in the FBI for a long time. Then he was the chief of police in Salt Lake City for 4 years. And during that time, he wrote a book in 1958. That's quite a while before I was even born. Not terribly long, but quite a long before I was even born. And when I was born, I certainly didn't know anything about the real war. The real global war, which is, of course, it's in the spirit. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but the flesh. There's a lot of flesh and blood that have taken their places of the positions in the spirit. There are demonic spirits out there. The devil is in the world, moving in the in the airwaves, teaching kids to respect their parents very, very little, to be able to mock their parents, and to be able to love the voices of their heroes. And these voices these are devilish voices raised up by communists to train the children to not listen to the people who love them most. No one can get hurt more than a parent watching their children go the wrong direction. Nothing can hurt worse. And then not knowing exactly how do you get their attention. You can't get their attention because all that they've learned from is a spirit that says, don't listen to mom and dad. Like that stupid song, Parents Just Don't Understand. A funny little cute video that I've seen 1,000 times, and I was addicted to it. But that thing gets plugged in your head, it's in your subconscious, and now you know that parents don't understand. So kids understand, even though they don't know jack diddly squat. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to get a job. They don't know how to dress right. They don't know how to do anything right. Kids today have lost their marbles even worse than my generation. I mean, girls dressed ridiculous when I was that young, but now, it's like the level of ridiculousness and promiscuity and sensual outfits is just unbelievable. It was bad enough when I was a kid. And it's absolutely unbelievably worse. That's all we see. But all we see has been given to us by people who are purposely trying to give us trash to look at. They give us trash in our food. They give us genetically modified garbage in our food. Almost everything we eat is poison. And the air that they give us, this chemtrails in the air to breathe in. And there's 3 things we need to know about the chemtrails that is coming down for us to breathe it in. There's nanotechnology in the air. I think it's arsenic or some kind of strange poison that's the #1 causer of cancer. And then there's also something called fluoride in our water. It's also a #1 way to kill somebody. Fluoride is a really, really dangerous thing. When I was a little kid, I brought frogs to school all the time. And I found this one daddy frog. It was a monster. It was a huge freaking frog. It was massive. I brought that daddy to the thing, and someone put fluoride in there, and it killed it very, very quickly. Fluoride is not good for you. We don't even need it in our mouths. I don't even recommend you put it in your mouths. Just rinse it out, and rinse it out extremely good. Rinse out your throat because of the little bit that could get down there. It's killing you. It's not good for you. So be careful. If you wash it in your mouth, that's fine. And some people who tell you to brush your teeth and they tell you to go ahead and swallow the toothpaste, it wasn't in anybody else's mouth. Just swallow it. That's more poison in your body. Don't swallow your toothpaste. That's them trying to say, let's kill you down. They're just trying to dumb us down. And they're trying to make what makes God's gift to this world is a family unit. A man and a woman and the children being raised up in godliness just like mom and dad. And the mom and dad are strong and they're strict. They're hardworking. They're godly. They're in the prayer. They're in the word. They're in the kitchen. They're in the front room. They're around the gardens. They're in the everything. My dad works really hard in the yard all the time. Amazing how I've gotten to this age where I don't even have to do that because I'm always living in places where there's landscapers and landkeepers out there, groundkeepers. I never had to learn that. I've barely ever mowed the lawn. I had one place I actually had my own lawn to mow, and it looked like an absolute nightmare. The landowner had to come out there and do it himself because I was so immature. I can't take care of responsibilities. I mean, that's like almost everything there is to life is taking care of responsibilities, and that kids are supposed to learn that. Instead, they learn how to play. I just want to go get some coffee. I want to go play with my friends. I want to go dress weird. I want to listen to weird music that teaches me not to listen to all the great examples and all the good counsel that I'm supposed to get. And I'm supposed to retrain my God-given brain to not listen to godly authority and not listen to godly counsel. That's genetically modified brain waves, okay? They mess up your brain by teaching you a spirit of rebellion. So anybody who tells you what to do, which is almost always good advice, whether harsh or kind, it's all good advice that if anybody really cared about their life, they would actually listen and say, I want to apply myself to all the rules. You don't have to yell at me anymore because I'm just going to listen. I want to do right. I don't want to get on my deathbed and look at my life and say, you know what? My whole life was all resisting everything. I resisted everyone. I had every excuse under the sun as to why I wouldn't listen. You know, I'm describing a wonderful portrait of myself, and that's what changed me when I was 30 years old. I think I was around almost 30 years old, and I said, you know what? I said, at this rate, when I get to my deathbed in another 40 years, 50 years from now, I'm going to look back at my life and say, well, at least I went to lots of dance clubs. At least I got to dress sexy. At least a lot of girls thought I was cool. And just a whole bunch of hogwash. Just a whole dang list of stupidity. I said, that is not a life worth living right there. To go to dance clubs and dance with all the girls and hang out with girls and try to be alone with as many girls as I could. To collect lots of toys, collect lots of lizards and reptiles. I said, that is not a life worth living. And it seems like a life worth living when you're living in darkness. And I don't want to live in darkness. I said, that does sound fun. And serving God doesn't even sound fun at all. It sounds so boring. It sounds so stupid. But I said, Lord, that's actually what I do believe. Why don't I actually live according to what I actually believe? Am I going to live like a fool the rest of my life? And I thought I would do it. And when I got real with God, I had a movie collection that covered 2 entire walls of my room. I had one room dedicated to my collection of movies. I had movies from way old, way new, tons and tons of cartoons. I burned all kinds of stuff. I'd go to the video store for years, and I would rent like 20 movies, and I'd come home and burn them all, and I had all these machines to copy. I didn't want to look back on my life and say, what a waste of a life. And that's all I could do. When you see young people today in the streets, I'm out there street preaching, I see these people out there, and I'm like, all I see is a whole bunch of robbies, and they never came to a conclusion that they're wasting their life. I was at Taco Bell, and some guy kind of started talking to me and talking to these other 2 young ladies right next to me, some young little Mexican girls. And they all started talking, and they all started asking me questions. It was almost like we all sat down together, and there was like barriers between us, but we all talked like we were at the same table. And this girl was talking about how she's like, I'm a rape baby. And she didn't say it like that. She just says, I don't have a dad, because this guy was asking about her dad. She says, I don't have a dad. My dad's nowhere in my picture. I don't know him. He's never been a part of my life at all. And not only that, he wasn't even my mom's boyfriend. He forced her. So yeah, now here's me. Nothing. I've got nobody to counsel me. I've got nobody but a bunch of Beyonce and a bunch of Lady Gaga and a bunch of trash pits raised up from the genetically modified communist psychotics that are serving Satan, and they want to dominate the planet, and they don't care about people at all. And this is the America that they've given us. They hate Americans, and they're coming to kill us in every way, shape, and form. And instead of fighting it with the glory of God and fighting it with the Word of God, we sit back and indulge in all the trash that they give us. The next generation doesn't even think about the day they're going to sit on their deathbed and lay there and look back at their life. And say, you know what, that's not what I want. It sounds fun to an immature place of me, but I can look at my life right now and I say, I don't even have my own car, I don't have my own job, I don't have my own insurance, I don't have my own gas, I don't have my own money to even fix my car when I get a car, I don't even know where to begin. Just all kinds of basics, and kids don't even have a clue as to where to even begin. This is the nation that we are in. The nation of fatherless children. That's the nation we live in. Fatherless America. And we've got fatherless America in the churches. We have no father in the churches. We have a bunch of pastors who are being run by the sheep. And they're being run by the genetically modified government. You're saying, what are you talking about all this stuff for? Because when you hear bad news, I pray to God that it will not make you feel overwhelmed. I hope it will make you want to stand up and fight like crazy until Satan surrenders. I'm tired of the devil running my country. I'm tired of it. And I, for one, am willing to make a stand.